ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभुजी, दंडवत प्रणाम स्टोरी।
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I extend my sincere gratitude to all of you for giving me your wonderful association, giving a chance to speak about the wonderful works of our acharyas. So we are continuing our Madhurya Kadambini. And yesterday, Mataji posted that chart, tree diagram. Thank you very much, Mataji, for doing that. I think that gives a very clear understanding of what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is talking about. Basically, the whole existence from the spiritual world to material world and all that exists in between, it is all alive. It is all living. Right? It's all living. And that living person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And everything else is energy. Right? The Supreme One, and then everything else is his energy. Then additionally, the Supreme One expands himself in many ways, and all those expansions that remain free from the influence of Maya, they are completely independent. That's called Vishnu Tattva. They are untouched by the three modes of material nature. And then there is one special expansion, which is the comparison of curd and milk. That is Shiva Tattva. Just like milk and curd, there's no difference. Only the Lord allows himself to be completely covered by the modes. Then he is called Sadashiva. And we know that Sadashiva is also, in that sense, Vishnu Tattva only. But the Lord covered in the modes, so we don't worship him as such. We don't equate him with Vishnu Tattva. Why? Because we want to go beyond the gunas, so we want to worship only the Vishnu Tattvas. Shiva Tattva is meant for the more fallen, conditioned souls, for whom the Lord wants to extend his mercy also. For that purpose, he takes the special form of Lord Shiva. So it's not Vishnu Tattva, but it's also not the energy Tattva of the Lord. It's simply like between milk and curd. So Lord Shiva, we worship him as a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Vaishnavanam Yata Sambhu, he is the greatest devotee. And he is giving his mercy to the most fallen souls. Even those who are in the worst tamogun, he gives mercy. Those people are envious of Vishnu. They will not worship Vishnu. For them, he gives the opportunity to worship him as Lord Shiva. So this is the understanding of the independent uh, living being, right? The Chetana. That is, one is Vishnu Tattva and Shiva Tattva. Then we are talking about those which are influenced by Maya, right? Those who are influenced by Maya and not influenced by Maya. And influenced by Maya, the human beings, the animals, the vegetation, including devas, they are all influenced by Maya. And not influenced by Maya, that is another set of living beings. And there is two categories, right? The the uninfluenced beings, they are either impersonalist living beings who want to simply merge in the form of the Lord. And Vishnu Chakravarti calls them lamentable souls. They just want to merge. They merge. And the other set of people who are called devotees, they are also not influenced by the Maya of the Lord, right? And they are the devotees. They keep that distance from the Lord and they enjoy transcendental reciprocations with the Lord, right? Then these are the people who are not affected by the Aishwarya of the Lord. Then he goes on to explain those who are influenced by the Aishwarya Shakti, Aishwarya Shakti of the Lord. There are two types of them. One is the Kumaras who are influenced by the Jnana, the transcendental Jnana aspect of the Lord. And then the other example is of Brahma, who is influenced by the creation element of the Lord, the material creation element of the Lord, correct? Brahma is the number one living entity in the material world. So that way, this kind of classification is given. Main purpose is to help us to appreciate how Shiva occupies a special position. Apart from Vishnu Tattva and Shiva Tattva, everything else is the energy or Prakriti of the Lord, right? Jiva Tattva, Para Prakriti. So they are all the energy of the Lord, Prakriti. But Shiva is not Prakriti. That means he is not Jiva. Shiva is not a Jiva. Both Vishnu Tattva and Shiva Tattva, they are not Jivas. Below that, Brahma downward, they are all Jiva Tattva. And Jiva is the superior energy, and the external energy is the inferior energy of the Lord. So this is how we understand. So to repeat again what we were saying, there is only one being, which is Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu. Only being exists. And then he expands his energy into the spiritual world and the material world. Internal energy, external energy. And then there is the marginal energy, which consists of all the Jiva Tattva, individual particles of light. If you take one sun ray, there are so many particles like that. Unlimited Jiva particles are there. And they are also Prakriti only. But very astonishingly, they are in quality the same as the Lord. That's why Krishna says, Mamaivamsho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The Jivatmas share the qualities of the Lord, like the ocean and a drop of it. But the biggest issue is the Jiva becomes influenced by the Maya, whereas the Lord is always in control of the Maya. This is how the distinction is made. So a pure devotee learns to see everything in Krishna and also Krishna in everything. Because there is the energy of Krishna only all around us. So the energy is present within the energetic. So everything we see around us, living or non-living, we see that they are all within Krishna. At the same time, because Krishna has entered as Paramatma within his creation, so you will also see Krishna within everything. Like when Hiranyakashipu is asking Prahlad Maharaj, where is your Hari? Is he also in this pillar? So Prahlad Maharaj sees, and he very much sees the Lord in the pillar also. He says, yes. So the Lord is, he has expanded his energy and he has also entered into his energy. He completely permeates his energy. So from any part of that creation, he can come out. He can manifest from any particle of the creation. That is why when we talk about the Supreme Lord, then we say expansions of the Lord, then plenary expansions of the Lord, partial expansions of the Lord, the expansion of the Lord. We say all these things, but it makes no difference. It's all the same Lord only. He can manifest his entire energy in any of these forms, but when there is a need. Otherwise, he is manifesting all his opulences in the form of Krishna. That is why we consider him as the original Purusha and also the complete Purusha. Purna Purushottam. We call him as Purna Purusha. But all Vishnu Tattvas are perfectly identical. When we say Vasudeva, Sankrishna, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, it is all simply for pastime purposes. The same Lord has taken forms. In the same way, Shiva Tattva stands distinctly because he is the one who allows himself to be covered by the modes for pastime purposes. He is not affected by the modes. He is not affected by the modes. That way, if he is affected, he will be like us. Right? So he's not affected like that. So he's not a jiva at all. And it is also explained that very, very rarely in some creation, Shiva could also be a jiva, empowered by the Lord, but very, very rarely. Almost always, it is the same milk and curd principle. It is the same Vishnu Tattva only, but appearing as Shiva Tattva. But when it comes to Brahma, almost always it is a qualified soul only, jiva only. Very, very rarely, when such a jiva is not found, then the Lord plays the role of Brahma also. So this is how Shiva is on a special pedestal. And in Brahma Samhita, there is one shloka which says, Devi Mahesha Haridamashu Teshu Teshu, like that it comes, right? That is, we are all in the Devi Dham, Durga Devi, this material creation is Devi Dham. Above that is Mahesha Dham. That is the place where Sadashiva is existing, Mahesha Dham. That is not within this material creation. Up to Brahmaloka, up to the covering of this universe, it is all Devi Dham. Above that is Mahesha Dham, that is also transcendental. And even beyond that is Haridham, which is the highest. And within Haridham, the highest is Goloka Vrindavan. So this is how, anytime we are asked to explain or visualize the creation, we should see like this. That it is all ultimately the Supreme Lord. Even when you study the Virat Rupa, for example, in different places in Bhagavatam, in different ways it is discussed. There also you will find that the universe first expands from Mahavishnu, unlimited universes. Then that universes are resting on the Karanodaka ocean. Then the Vishnu himself enters into each of these universes as Garbhodakasai Vishnu. Then from him, the Virat Rupa expands. And within the Virat Rupa, everything is situated. And the Supreme Lord also enters as Kshirodakasai Vishnu into every atom and inside the body of every living entity. He is entering as Kshirodakasai Vishnu. So that way, everything is within him and he is within everything. So this is the mystic potency of the Lord. So when we understand this as Vaishnavas, we will respect everything as the Supreme Lord only. We will not make any distinction. Externally, we will deal with them differently. Like if you see a tiger, you will run away from it, you will protect yourself. If you see a cow, you may pat the cow. Different existences you treat differently, but Pandita Samadarshinaha, you will always see the Lord is inside everyone as Paramatma. Right? So that is very, very important for a devotee to develop that consciousness. Not only we see Krishna in the deity form, but we also see Krishna present in all the devotees and also the non-devotees. That is when we reach the Madhyama platform. Otherwise, if we only see the Lord in the deity form, but we insult or neglect the Vaishnavas, then we are called Prakrita. Prakrita means materialistic Vaishnava. That means we are not even into Vaishnava. We are just on the way to become a Vaishnava. Because the essence of Vaishnava is he sees Vishnu everywhere. In fact, what is the meaning of Vishnu? What is the meaning of Vishnu? Hare Krishna, devotees. What is the meaning of the word Vishnu?
Krishna, is it all pervading? No
Exactly.
idea.
Exactly. Vishnu means all pervasive. So that is so how we can say Vishnu is here, Vishnu is not here. And even in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained, Arjuna is asking, how can I appreciate your presence? Because in the material world, you are not manifest. You are immanent. Immanent means you are not visibly present, but you are pervading everything. That is what you said. So, Krishna, how can I appreciate you in the material world? And then Krishna says, in all expressions of great opulence, you can remember me, right? Among mountains, I am this. Among the peaks, I am this. Among oceans, I am this. Among snakes, I am this. The best, you remember me with that. So basically, everything is Krishna. But within that, you remember him through what is best. So this is how the Vishnu concept must be appreciated. So as a Vaishnava, we have to respect everything and everyone. So that is how a Vaishnava progresses. So let us proceed further.
Prabhuji, one query. Prabhuji, Aishwarya Shakti is internal potency of Krishna. What is exactly Aishwarya Shakti, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Krishna's internal potency is manifesting in the spiritual worlds. The entire internal potency is manifesting in the spiritual world. As far as the external potency is concerned, it is simply a perverted reflection of the internal potency. So the that is free from any contamination in the internal energy in the Vaikuntha planets. But in the external energy, it is contaminated by the three modes. How it is contaminated? You don't feel the presence of Krishna here. In the spiritual world, everybody is in the mood of serving Krishna. Everybody has the spirit of, I am a servant of Krishna and my business is to please him. They always look forward to pleasing Krishna. So there, the Aishwarya is completely uncontaminated. But in the material world, the same Aishwarya, because the Lord is hiding himself, everyone develops the mood of, I am the proprietor, enjoyer, controller. And they want to, I am the master of everything I serve. Because of that spirit, here everything is contaminated. We don't have the mood of serving the Lord. And we forget the Lord. And we try to use everything for our own purpose. So here it is called the external potency of that. See, but basically they're all the energy of the Lord only. They're all Aishwarya of the Lord only. But the difference is that all the Aishwarya is used in the service of the Lord. But in the material world, we are trying to appropriate what belongs to Krishna. So there is a difference. So the external potency, internal potency, they're basically one energy of the Lord. Like Prabhupada would again and again explain, the expert electrical engineer can use the same electricity to produce heat or to cool things. The same electricity is working in the oven as well as in the refrigerator. Same way, same Krishna's energy only. It is number one, Krishna, and number two, the energies of Krishna. That's all. It's all energy. So that way, we can appreciate Aishwarya as Yogamaya or Mahamayas.
Maya. Okay. That means Maya is one form.
It is Maya only. By the Lord's will, another point that I keep reminding myself, and I also keep reminding my audience also, is that the Supreme Lord, whatever he wills, the will, W-I-L-L, the will of the Lord is the truth, right? If you want a definition of truth, we say the Supreme Lord is truth. But that is difficult to understand. But what is easier to understand is the will of the Lord is the supreme truth. Whatever the Lord wills, that becomes true. So the Lord wants the spiritual world to exist forever. So spiritual world becomes absolute truth. But the Lord wills the material world to be changing, right? Constantly changing. Producing, maintaining, destroying. Producing, maintaining, destroying. It comes and goes in cycles. There is a Lord's will. So the material world is temporary. Why? It is a Lord's will. Spiritual world is permanent. Why? It is Lord's will. So the ultimate reality is the will of the Lord. So if the Lord wills that spiritual world should exist forever, then how can we call it as Maya? Because by the word Maya, we generally understand that which is not real, correct? Maya has many meanings. That which is measured, that which is partitioned, that's one meaning of Maya. Another meaning of Maya is that which is temporarily exists and then disappears, right? We call it as Maya. But when the Lord wills that something should exist forever, it will exist forever. Then how can you say, no, 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 this is not real? How can you say? When the Lord says something is real, it is real. So as a devotee of the Lord, we should simply accept whatever the Lord says. So we should not start questioning, oh, but that spiritual world is also created by him. That is where we enter into all kinds of problems, And that is why Acharyas tell us again and again, the time factor is Krishna only. So the same time factor operates differently in the spiritual world and in the material world, correct? Can anyone explain how? What is the difference about how time factor operates in the spiritual world and in the material?
It is eternal in the spiritual world.
Yes.
Isn't it? Time. But whereas the material world, it is not eternal.
But you have to explain it in a way that we can understand. What is the meaning of eternal and what is the meaning of not eternal? Anyone likes to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Krishna himself is Kala.
Yes.
So there won't be any influence of Kala in spiritual world.
In the material world also, Krishna is Kala. Rather, in the material world, Krishna appears as Kala only. That's why Prabhupada says, the non-devotees also will see Krishna. When they will see? When they die. In the form of death, they will see Krishna. Until they are alive, they will keep on saying there is no Krishna, no Krishna, no Krishna. But when they die, they will experience Krishna in the form of death. So the time factor in the material world, it keeps pushing things like a current in a river, right? If you happen to fall into a fast flowing river, you cannot do anything. It will just push you in any direction it wants. Whichever way the river water turns and goes, you will go. You have no control. Similar way, we are all pushed by the current of time here. So we experience time as three: past, present, future. The past has gone, present is happening, and the future is inexorably, it is coming towards us. So this is the current of time we experience in the material world. So as a result, we experience everything: Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Adhyatmik, Adidaivik, Adibaudik. Everything around us is constantly changing. This is the force of time in the material world. And the time itself is Krishna. It is the energy of Krishna. It is the time factor, which is Krishna, and the three modes of material nature, right, which Krishna controls. This is the whole basis of material existence. The three modes, under the influence of time factor, they create changes, constantly changing. The modes are acting on us, and the time is pushing on us, and as a result, we experience different things in this world. This is how, in the material world, time factor is operating, right? And time factor operates to give us the fruits of our karma, right? Whatever actions we have done, action, reaction. That's why we say Karanodaka ocean. The ultimate cause of all causes is Krishna. And from him, so many cause-effect chains are produced. And we are all entering into this chain of cause and effect, bondage. And then we are experiencing that. We create more karma, then we experience it. And everything is facilitated by the time factor, which is Krishna only. In the material world, Krishna does not appear personally. He appears as time factor. But in the spiritual world, Krishna is appearing as Krishna. And where is the time factor? Time is conspicuous by its absence. Or time factor becomes a servant of the Yogamaya. And what does the time factor do? Time factor creates the illusion of time. Past, present, future. Actually, it is always present tense in the spiritual world. It is always present tense. But you will still have the feelings of past, present, and future. That is only to increase your ecstatic experiences. But it is always unchanging. Nobody becomes old. Nobody becomes sick. Nobody dies. There is no adhyatmic, adhidevik, adhibaudik kleshas there. Everything is just going on smoothly. But the time factor operates only to increase your anticipation, sambhoga, vipralamba. It's created by the illusion of time there. Right? So spiritual world, the time factor is always present tense. In the material world, time factor is like a current. Everybody will be blown away by that current. That is how time factor operates here. So these factors we should always remember. The will of the Lord. It is the will of the Lord that created the spiritual world. And by his will, it is eternal. So you cannot say, when was the spiritual world created? By the will of the Lord, the spiritual world is eternal. Our tendencies, but no, eternal is okay, but when? Before the spiritual world came, what was Krishna doing? Was he not alone? We have a tendency to impose this on him. I all right, Prabhu, I can understand. Yeah, spiritual world, yeah, it is eternal. This material world comes and goes. But then, before creating the spiritual world, the Lord must have been there. No, he must have been. We get into this kind of a thinking. No, by the will of the Lord, his form is eternal, his dham is eternal, his paraphernalia is eternal, his activities are eternal, his devotees are eternal. In the spiritual world, they are Nitya Siddhas, they are eternal. By the will of the Lord. So when we learn to appreciate the will of the Lord, then we can understand what is Achintya, Bheda, Abheda, everything. It is all coming from the will of the Lord. There is nothing that can challenge the will of the Lord. So sometimes, when we did not know these facts with the help of Srila Prabhupada, we would sometimes wonder, no, this even God cannot do. Sometimes, no, this is impossible, cannot be done. But now we realize, no, by definition, nothing is impossible for the Lord. Everything is possible for him. That is his will. We talk about some people who have a very strong willpower, correct? Some people, they will never accept no. They will keep trying. Like that. And we say he is a man of great willpower. But the Supreme Lord's will, you know what? Yes, unlimited energies. And these energies, they are called Lakshmis. All his energies are called Lakshmis. And they are all just waiting. They are all unlimitedly powerful Shaktis. And they are all waiting when the Lord will give me an order. Just to execute instantaneously. So the Lord doesn't have to make any effort. The moment there is a desire and it becomes fact. So there is no difference between the Lord's desire and the fact. They are the same. But in our case, I desire to have a house. Then I have to start looking. I have to collect the money. I have to find a proper place. I have to find the seller. I have to verify documents. And I have to go for bank loan if it is required. Then I have to engage a contractor. And I have to give him money. He has to start building. In between, somebody will cheat me and run away. And it takes a long time to realize my desire. And it may never be realized also. But in the Lord's case, it is not like that. There is no inebriety in the will of the Lord. What Lord wills is instantly fact. The will and the fact. The time gap in our case between willing and realizing, it is absent in the case of the Lord. It is 100% instantaneous. These are the ways we have to appreciate the glory of the Lord. And we have to appreciate how fortunate we are to have got this introduction through Srila Prabhupada to understand and appreciate the Lord. And by appreciating the Lord, we can also appreciate who we really are. Foolishly identifying ourselves with the body, we have accepted so many limitations. But the soul has no limitation. The soul is called Brahman. The soul is called Atmarama. The soul has also nothing lacking. That is why here we saw no independent souls. The devotees and the impersonalists who merge with the Lord, they are both not affected by Maya. So that way, the soul is also, as part and parcel of the Lord, very powerful. But we can realize that power only when we appreciate the Lord, appreciate the Lord's energies, and appreciate our own true nature as Jiva and his eternal servant. Only when we appreciate these things, we become free from the conditioning of material energy. And we are in that position, we are as good as Krishna, meaning he accepts our service and we are giving him the service. Both are gods. Savior God, Sevaka God. He is accepting our seva. He is the God who accepts our seva. And we are the God who serve him. Because we have no desire at all. We have no need at all. When you go back to your original constitutional position, actually you have no need. So you are called Atmarama. Just as Krishna is Atmarama, enjoying within himself, as a Jivatma, you are also Atmarama. You are also enjoying within yourself. So that is where you see the Kumaras, for example, they are Atmarama souls. But when they saw Vishnu, when they experienced the fragrance of the sandal mixed with tulsi fragrance entering into their nose, they became pure devotees. They realized, oh my God, he is the Supreme Lord. And how wonderful, how foolish we have been to think of impersonal God. As a person, he is far more relishable. And we want to have a relationship of bhakti with him. So that is how they became transformed. So let us proceed further. So Brahma and Vishnu are completely different tattvas. Shiva and Vishnu, we have experienced, they are very, very close, like milk and curd, and there is no jiva there. Shiva is not a jiva tattva. Whereas Brahma and Vishnu are completely different. And we saw the example of Surya Kanta stone. The sun is reflecting on a stone, and that stone acts like a sun to give out light and heat. From a distance, you see that the polished stone, directly sunlight hitting and the light is reflecting. It looks like a miniature sun. So similarly, the creative power of the Lord, when it manifests through the Shakti Avesh avatar of Brahma, then he acts like God in the matter of creation. So like that, Brahma and Vishnu are described as identical in the Purana, but only in the sense of Surya Kanta jewel. Correct? Brahma is like a Surya Kanta jewel. In that sense only, he is called similar to the Supreme Lord. But Shiva is practically Vishnu Tattva. But we don't call him Vishnu Tattva. We call him Shiva Tattva for special reasons. So, okay, all this we have discussed. So those who have not fully researched the matter say that Vishnu is the Lord, not Shiva. People argue. Some people say Vishnu is the Lord, not Shiva. And some people say Shiva is the Lord, not Vishnu. Or that since I am a devotee of Vishnu, I will not give regard to Shiva. Some people will say like that, some Vaishnavas. And some Shaivites will say, I am a devotee of Shiva. I will not respect Vishnu. Such people deliberately involving themselves in arguments. Who is greater? They are all offenders. Please note. Not only the Shaivites are offenders, the Vaishnavites are also offenders. If they argue, I only worship Vishnu, he is greater than Shiva, Shiva is inferior, like that they say, they also become offenders. So these are all areas we never enter. We don't preach like this also. We preach with that complete humility that God's creation has a purpose. In that purpose, the Vishnu Tattva is on top. Then the Shiva Tattva is a special manifestation of the same Vishnu Tattva. It's not a jiva. He's not a jiva tattva. So this way we have to very careful. And he's the supremost Vaishnava also. So as a devotee of Krishna, he's helping the most fallen souls who are envious of Krishna to slowly reconnect with him. Shiva patiently cultivates them by fulfilling their undesirable desires and slowly, slowly purifies them and then sends them to Vishnu. If such offenders can become enlightened by a knowledgeable devotee, then they can realize how Shiva and Vishnu are non-different. See here, Vishnu Chakravarti is directly using the word, they are non-different. Is curd and milk non-different? Yes and no. Yes and no. Milk can become curd, but curd cannot become milk. In some places, it is explained that when Mahavishnu glances at the material energy, his glance carries the souls to be impregnated into the material energy. That glance itself becomes Lord Shiva, or the glance is received by Lord Shiva. And thereafter, Shiva and Parvati, they become the father and mother of the entire material creation. All the souls, 84 lakh species, they are the father and mother. By simply a glance, Vishnu is projecting the souls that want to go away from him. And then Shiva and Parvati become the parents of them to purify and return them back to Vishnu. That is their service. Okay. Then he comes to another aparad, Shruti Shastra Ninda, right? To blaspheme Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance of Vedic version. We have finished with Shiva Vishnu Tattva and Brahma Tattva. So one may criticize Shrutis which emphasize jnana or karma because they do not touch bhakti. This is another important thing. Just now we finished discussing how somebody can become an offender by saying Vishnu is superior, Shiva is superior. I will only worship Vishnu, I will only worship Shiva. These people become offenders, right? And through the help of a knowledgeable devotee, they can come out of the offense. Similarly, how a devotee can become an offender with regard to Vedic scriptures? See, here, you listen very carefully. A devotee may criticize jnana scriptures or karma scriptures by saying they are inferior to bhakti. They don't talk about bhakti. So their jnana scriptures or karma scriptures are inferior. Right? Right? Wrong. That is what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Wrong in the sense, there is a different target audience for karma smriti or jnana smriti or bhakti smriti. You should not say, no, they are useless or they are inferior. No. Some people have only adhikar for karma. Some people have only adhikar for jnana. And if you criticize them, what will happen? So, Vishnu Chakravarti says, this is an offense. To speak ill of karma smriti or jnana smriti, they are all Vedic scriptures. They are there for a purpose. Lord has not created anything unnecessarily. So, if you commit this offense, how to get relief? You should have the fortune to understand from a knowledgeable person that the Shrutis mercifully help the most blind, unqualified, independent people. Here the meaning of independent is they don't surrender to a guru. They act according to their minds. They think they are independent. Such people, blind, unqualified, independent people, these Shrutis help them to come to the path of bhakti. How? Via the path of karma and jnana. Eventually they will come to bhakti. Otherwise they will never come to bhakti. Karma and jnana are also intended to bring them to bhakti. So this is an offense to criticize these scriptures. So commission of the fourth offense, how to nullify it? The same mouth which criticizes the scripture, you should use the same mouth to glorify, to praise the scriptures. And also you should praise the practitioners of those scriptures, like those who practice karma and jnana. You should praise them, right? You should not criticize them. You should not simply shake the faith of somebody and go away from there, Unless you take responsibility to bring them to bhakti, you cannot criticize karma or jnana. If you can take the responsibility to bring that person to bhakti, then you can criticize. But if you leave them halfway, then you will become an offender, right? So how to overcome? The same scriptures now you start praising, and I have also you have to do Nama Kirtan. In the same way, one should understand about other offenses also. So out of all the offenses, Chakravarti Pad has discussed 1 and 3, Vaishnava Ninda. Then number 2, Shiva, Vishnu, how the names are different. And thirdly, the offenses to the scriptures. Then he says, in the same way, you should understand the other offenses also, how they appear and how they can be nullified. Okay, so this is it. And then the next caption is, have you understood? We have discussed the 10 offenses now. The discussion of 10 offenses is over. How one gets into offense and one gets free from offense, right? Now we are talking about Bhaktiyotta Anarthas. Bhaktiyotta Anarthas, right? Here, what Chakravarti Pad is saying, when you are growing a plant and you are regularly watering the plant, around the plant, weeds will also grow because they also need the same water, the same sunshine, the same soil. So they are also growing. You are watering a plant, the bhakti plant, but other weeds are also growing. By the cultivation of bhakti, there appears acquisition of material wealth. You are practicing bhakti nicely, and in the process, what happens? You become wealthy, labha, and other facilities come to you, and people start worshipping you. You are worshipping Krishna, they start worshipping you. That's called puja. And thirdly, everybody starts respecting you, and you get fame. That's called pratishtha. You get positions, high positions. So high positions is pratishtha. They worship you, respect you, puja, and you get material wealth, labha. These are all anarthas. By their very nature, they have the power to influence the heart of the devotee and to obscure and restrict the main plant which is intended for cultivation, bhakti. So when you are practicing bhakti, puja, labha, pratishtha will appear. They are called anarthas. So how to destroy the anarthas? Now we have understood 4 types of anarthas, right? Sukrutotta, Dushkrutotta, Aparadotta, and Bhaktiyotta. So 4 types of anarthas we have seen. Next we will be discussing how these anarthas will be nullified. Okay. And once we discuss that, this 3rd shower will become over. And right now I have to end this meeting because I have to get into another meeting. I will post the invitation here. Acha, she will do. Okay, then maybe we will discuss for another 5 minutes. Okay. The 4 types of anarthas, we have already discussed that. And now eradication of these anarthas happens in 5 stages or 5 grades, 5 levels of nullification. I have given it here in the screen. If you see, Ekadesha Vartini, Bahudesha Vartini, Prayiki, Purna, and Atyantiki. 5 types. We will briefly see what each of these means. The translation of Ekadesha Vartini is when the eradication is limited to 1 anartha at a time. 1 anartha, then another anartha. We have kama, krodha, lobha, moha, like that. So many anarthas we have. So one after the other, if the anarthas are going, the purification or nullification is happening 1 anartha at a time, and that 1 anartha also gradually happening. That is called Ekadesha Vartini. That is the lowest grade. Very slowly the anarthas are clearing. That is Ekadesha Vartini. Second is affecting many anarthas simultaneously. Many anarthas are going away. That is called pervasive, Bahudesha Vartini. Simultaneously, more than 1, many anarthas are getting cleared. That is 2nd grade. 3rd grade is Prayiki. All the anarthas are gradually disappearing. Without exception, all are gradually going away. The 4th one is complete, almost complete. That's called Purna. Almost they are all gone. almost, little. And finally, absolute, atyantiki. From beginning to end, the anarthas are completely cleared. So we have to understand, even though sometimes we may feel that my anarthas are going, but we have to understand, we should never think my anarthas are gone. They go like this. Sometimes one anartha only may go, other anarthas may remain, or more than one anartha may go, but that also gradually. Or prayiki, all the anarthas may start disappearing gradually, or there may be almost entirely they may go, but still the traces will remain. And ultimately, atyantiki, no trace is also left. It is all gone. These are the 5 grades of eradication, right? Atyantiki is absolutely. And Ekadesha, starting from that, it is limited. From limited to gradually higher, then absolute. So now he will discuss with regard to the 4 types of aparadhas, how they will get nullified. Means we have seen 4 types of aparadhas. How they get cleared in different ways, right? We have seen how bhakti starts from Shraddha. All of you know, I think, no? Does anybody not know that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami explains Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya? Is there anyone who is not familiar with this? Any one of you? Or can I request any one of you to briefly tell all these steps from Shraddha to Prema? Very briefly. Who would like to say that? Very briefly, just explain these stages of going from Shraddha to Prema. NOD. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Shraddha is getting that faith
Yes.
in Krishna, and then the Shastras, and then Guru Shastras, then Sadhu Sangha is getting the association. Next step, getting the association of devotees.
How do you connect the thing? I request you to connect the previous step with the next step. How they are connected, like
that. Approaching a guru, Prabhuji. Approaching a guru and taking shelter of a guru, and then
right?
bhajana.
Because you have Shraddha. You have developed Shraddha in the process of bhakti. So you move to the next stage. That is, you approach Vaishnavas, you approach Guru, and you start the bhajana kriya. Right? Sadhu Sangha. You come into Sadhu Sangha. Then from Sadhu Sangha, yes, Mataji, please continue.
Yes, Prabhuji. From Sadhu Sangha, after approaching a guru, we start the process of devotional service, which is bhajana kriya in the association of devotees.
Yes.
By practicing in the association of devotees, slowly the anartha nivriti happens gradually. Next step, Prabhuji.
Yes.
After that, one reaches the level of Nishta. Nishta, where he's steadfast, determined.
That means
He's
most of the
determined.
anarthas, substantially the anarthas go, then your bhajana becomes nishta, steady. Before that, it was unsteady. Now, with the clearing of some of the anarthas, you are in nishta, you are steady. Yes, please.
Yes, Prabhuji. The next level is Ruchi. One gets taste in the practice of bhakti. In the process, he gets the taste. Still, Anartha Nivriti is going on even at that time. Then after Ruchi, he reaches Asakti, which is a very positive level where he is attracted to Krishna.
He is not able to give up. That is the asakti stage. He is just
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay, Prabhuji. Then Asakti, then he reaches the stage of Bhava. Bhava, where most of the anarthas are gone. Only a trace of anartha is left at that time, if I'm not wrong, Prabhuji. And
yes,
then,
in the Bhava stage, he is getting darshan of Krishna also, but not all the time. It comes and goes. Sometimes he is in spiritual consciousness, sometimes he is in material consciousness. That is the Bhava stage. He is already almost entering into the Prema stage. That's the Bhava, the preliminary stage. He is experiencing Krishna sometimes, but sometimes he disappears also because of the remaining contamination. Yes, Madhu.
yes, Prabhuji. Then the last stage of Krishna Prema, where all the anarthas are cleared, and he is constantly in his constitution, always in his constitutional position of
Yes.
serving Krishna.
Yes. So in the stage of prema, both anarthas and aparadas are gone. At the stage of bhava, anarthas are almost gone, but aparada may still be acting. That is how Bharat Maharaj fell down. But once you reach prema, there is no more aparada also left. So this is how we understand that. So Chakravarti Pad is discussing anarthas arising from nama aparada. Okay, how they are cleared. With the performance of devotional activity, bhajana kriya, there is limited eradication. That means once you come to the stage of bhajana kriya, shraddha, sadhusanga, bhajana kriya. Once you come to bhajana kriya, these nama paradas are ekadesha vartini, right? The first case, ekadesha vartini. One at a time, limited eradication is happening. Anarthas, there is a limited eradication at the Bhajana Kriya stage. Then, once you reach Nishta, you cross Bhajana Kriya, then you cross Anartha Nivritti, you reach Nishta, then it becomes Bahudesha Vartini. Many of the Anarthas are getting cleared at the stage of Nishta. Then, when you go to the stage of Bhava, right, then Prayiki, right, that means general. So, first it was Ekadesha, then Bahudesha, at the stage of Nishta. At the stage of Bhava, it is general. Practically, all the anarthas are gradually going away. Then, when the prema appears, then it is Purna. When prema appears, Purna, you crossed Bhava, entered into prema. With the attainment of the Lord's lotus feet, it is Atyantiki, absolute. So, like that, Vishwanath Chakravarti is making a distinction up to the stage of from prema also, there is a stage that you reach the lotus feet of the Lord. Then it is totally, without a trace, it is eradicated. That means he is giving a hint that nama aparada can trouble you even in the prema stage, even though anarthas are not there. But this nama aparad, anarthas, that may still be there even at the prema stage until you cling to the lotus feet of the Lord. So there is nama aparad is that way very dangerous. He is giving, in the case of Chitraketu, who had attained the lotus feet of the Lord, that means Atyantiki. In the case of Chitraketu, there was absolutely nothing, no anartha, no aparada left. His accidental maha aparada to Shiva. But you, in Bhagavatam, have you, all of you read the story of Dhritarashtra and Chitraketu pastime? Anyone doesn't know? You can raise your hand or you can unmute. Anyone doesn't know this Chitraketu story? Okay. Chitraketu was a great king, and by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, he became a pure devotee with the blessings of Narada Muni and Parvata Muni, and he became the king of the Vidyadharas. That was only a temporary place. He is a pure devotee going to Vaikuntha only. No defects in him, but temporarily he is given the position of the king of Vidyadharas, but he is actually a pure Vaishnava. At that time, he sees Shiva and Parvati sitting under a tree and teaching to the sages. Okay, and then he passes a funny remark about Lord Shiva. Funny remark. And Parvati Devi takes offense and she curses him. Actually, if you see also, you will think, yeah, why should he say like this? It is actually an aparad. He should not have done that to Lord Shiva. You may think like that. So Chakravartipad is saying that aparad, the accidental aparad, was apparent, not real. He never did aparad actually, because he is completely pure. Aparad cannot happen to him. Okay, not real, because he has abundance of prema. So he is giving this example to show that in the prema stage, there can be simply no aparad. If somebody says, in the case of Chitraketu, in the prema stage also there was aparad, he is saying it was only apparent. There was no real aparad. He is proving that by saying, when Chitraketu became an asura in the next birth by the curse of Parvati, even as asura, his heart was pure. He was a pure devotee in the body of a asura. Even Indra becomes stunned. When Vritarasura preaches to him, Indra becomes stunned. He sees, suddenly Indra looks like a villain, because Vritarasura is so pure, pure Vaishnava. So like that, Chakravartipad is saying, actually, someone who has attained the lotus feet of the Lord, there is no aparad. So we will stop here. We will continue tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow we will complete this third shower of nectar. Thank you very much for joining. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam